Hello, guys, and welcome back to the podcast. This is Paint the Town Dead, and I am one half of your host, Caitlin.
And she's here with Andrew.
Hi,
That's
Andrew.
me.
Hey.
Yep, that's everybody.
Number 2.
That's everybody.
This is it. This is the studio. This is the what do they call it? Like podcasts all come together.
I don't know.
Under like a label.
Oh, like a label.
Well, yeah.
A podcasting group, publishing group,
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
for Crime Junkie, it's Audio Chuck, and for My Favorite Murder, it's Exactly Right Network.
Or like, yeah, there's a bunch. Like Weekly Planet Broadcasting. There's Earwolf.
Yeah, you know.
Something one.
Wondery's one.
There's something with a 1 in it, like Radio 1 or something like that. I can't remember what it is.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Gimlet.
Okay, that's enough.
Anyway, if any of y'all want to pay us money,
yeah, right.
hook us up.
This is the studio. Wait, I already said that word. Whatever.
I think studio's perfect. That's the word.
It is.
That's the one you want.
It's 7:30 at night. It's past my bedtime.
Sure.
Yeah, no, but really, we were literally having a conversation on the couch a little bit ago, waiting for food to get here. And I'm sorry, Andrew. I don't know what you were saying. I totally straight up just fell asleep.
Probably wasn't important.
I was making you watch Hellboy, the new one, which is no good, which is really sad because I love David Harbour, but I was making you watch it and then I fell asleep.
I was either making fun of maybe I was making fun of the fact that Mila Jovovich is never in good movies.
Which is sad. I like Fifth Element. I think it's a cult classic.
It is. It's actually very popular. People like it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a very popular and good movie.
Oh, okay.
It's just like most of the time
the
she's
Resident Evils
doing like one of the 19 Resident Evil movies that have been made, or some other like straight to video thing or whatever.
Hey, fun fact: she is the most lethal female in movies. She has the most confirmed kills.
I watched a movie. What was it called? Ultraviolet. Did you ever watch that?
No, but I know what you're talking about. It has a white person in it that shouldn't be, right?
Right? You might be thinking of something else, but
I'm thinking of Ghost in the Shell. That's what I'm thinking of.
You're thinking of Scarlett Johansson playing a character who in the comics and anime was called Makoto Kusanagi.
Very Japanese.
Yeah. So I don't... they probably gave her a different name than Kusanagi, but also she's a cyborg. She could technically look however she wants, like Altered Carbon, where it's like...
Yeah.
It's an Asian guy, and now he's in a white man body, and then later in a black man body.
What?
Yeah.
All of them.
Well, anyway, Ultraviolet, starring Mila Jovovich, is really terrible. It's from like the early to mid 2000s. It takes place in the future, and it's like vampires, but it doesn't look anything like vampires. It's more like cyberpunky. And
I have seen this.
There's 2 parts I want to point out. Okay. One where she has a big fight scene with a guy, and the guy is using his hair to fight her.
Whoa.
Like swinging his braids at her or whatever.
Does he have blades on his braids?
I don't think so. I think it's just like...
Ooh, well,
yeah. And then...
it'd be a lot cooler if you did.
Yeah. There's a part where a bunch of guys are like surrounded her, and they try to shoot her, and she dodges all the bullets, and they just shoot themselves.
Perfect.
Very, very smart villains.
Perfect. Love it. Yes.
Yeah, I think it's vampires. I can't remember. That movie's real bad.
Makes sense. Ultraviolet, they can't, sunlight.
Yeah.
Vampires.
Yeah. So they should also make one called Mirror Face, but you can't see your face unless you put on makeup, I guess.
I don't think it has the same ring. Just right off the top here, doesn't have the same ring.
Fang face.
Ooh, it's right. It's
I
like
got fangs in my mouth. I'm gonna suck your blood with them.
It's like the guy from Guardians of the Galaxy, Taser Face.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just terrible.
Same
and everybody
same
makes
vibe.
And everybody makes fun of him. Andrew, do you remember that?
No.
Oh, everybody makes fun.
Do they make fun of him?
Yes, they laugh in his face, literally.
Oh, they don't think he has a cool name?
No.
Weird.
So maybe drop the pointy face.
Fang face.
Sorry. Yes, fang face.
Face of fangs.
That's better.
Is it though? Yeah.
Is it though?
Why don't you tell us what's going on?
Let me tell you something actually good.
Oh.
And it's a story.
Yes.
That I'm going to tell you today.
And I've never heard this.
Yes,
I've only read it.
You jerk. Okay. Andrew, this is a long one today. It's pretty lengthy. I had my nap, had my power nap, got a little noodles. We had some noodles. It was good.
I just hydrated.
Yeah, I have water on my right side and a Pepsi Zero on the other side. I'm ready to party.
Why did they move to... Didn't they used to be the Pepsis?
I have no idea. They did Diet Pepsi. I mean, they still have that.
I was thinking they had Coke Zero, and then they were like, here's Pepsi 1.
I think everything's going to, like, zero. Like, there's Coke Zero, Pepsi Zero, Dr. Pepper Zero.
I just realized, I think I know what the difference is. Because Coke, it used to just be Coke Zero. Now it's Coke Zero Sugar.
Yeah.
I think it's the sugar's the difference. Because it used to be...
This says Pepsi Zero Sugar.
Okay. So it used to be the number was denoting calories, I believe. So it was like Coke Zero has 0 calories. And now it has 0 sugar. Yeah,
there is no sugar in here. A little sodium. I think it's got aspartame, so I'm going to have cancer. But most importantly, it has caffeine, which I need. Okay, so let's talk about our story today, Andrew. Today we're talking about a very famous guy, which you may or may not have heard of, named Larry Porter Chism. Lego. So Larry Chism was born in Forest City, Arkansas on December 19th, 1948. And I don't know if we talked about it on air, but you and I have talked about Forest City before and how it was named for the Confederate General Nathan Bedford Forrest, who was unfortunately the first Grand Wizard of the KKK. So all that's very unfortunate Arkansas history there. I put in my notes, do better, Arkansas.
Yeah, we do have a Lincoln County that's named after Abraham.
Good job.
I think there might be a Grant named after Grant.
Yeah, there is.
Is it named after him? Oh. Do you know for sure?
Oh, no, I don't know that. But we do have a Grant County, Arkansas.
Yeah, I can't remember.
Is that where Hot Springs is?
No, that's Garland.
Garland, the other G. Okay. So Larry grew up with his mother and father, Francis and Millard, and 2 brothers, John and Harry. And he was described as just like a totally average-looking guy, a little on the geeky side. He was, I burped, kind of lanky and gangly. He had a real easygoing personality, and it allowed him to kind of blend in anywhere he went. Very charismatic, they said. Just chill guy. Just everybody liked him. He was super chill.
And you can tell he's probably a really old person with parents named Francis and Millard.
You know what? You want to know something?
Yeah.
I don't know which one is the man and which one's which. Yeah, I didn't know which one's which, because I was like, I think Millard would be the guy and Francis would be the lady.
I've known of Francis who are men, so.
Well, yeah, but Millard. So, I mean, have you known any? I haven't known any Millards actually.
Yeah,
but
none.
So who knows? Francis and Millard. But Larry graduated from high school in 1966. He was a good student.
I just thought of a Millard.
Oh, who?
The former president.
Yeah.
That's a guy. Yeah, that's obviously.
True. Yeah, I thought about that. Okay, so we figured it out. Mystery solved.
We figured out nothing, actually, is the real answer.
That's the end of the case. Hope you guys enjoyed it. No, just kidding. So he graduated from high school in 1966. He had good grades. He was a good student. After graduation, he enrolled in Memphis State University, which I think now is the University of Memphis. Is that right?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
They even wear throwbacks with the MSU on it sometimes for basketball.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I don't know when the name changed, but at some point it changed.
It would have been like the 80s or very early 90s. But
why did it change?
Because University of Memphis sounds better than Memphis State University. When you have something state, it just conveys like more prestige when you don't have state in your name.
Oh, okay.
Like think of all of the major colleges generally.
It's University of Arkansas, University of Georgia, University of Florida.
Yeah, like the main university in a state usually doesn't have state in its name. Sometimes it's not the case. Like Ohio State is the main state university there, but that's usually not the case. And like there's other like Middle Tennessee State University. Mm-hmm. They haven't changed their name, but for like athletics, they leave off the state.
It's just Middle Tennessee.
Yeah.
I remember that.
And Troy State changed to Troy some point. Yeah. Like the early 2000s.
So just some more prestige. Cool. That has nothing to do with the story.
It just makes you sound better.
Cool. All right. So, excuse me. So while there, he met a woman named Harriet. They fell in love. They got married. They had 2 daughters. That Pepsi's really getting me. One in 1969 and one in 1970. But the marriage very soon dissolved, and his wife took their children and left out of state. So in 1970, Larry was drafted to serve in Vietnam from 1970 to 1972. He was honorably discharged, and he returned back to Memphis to re-enroll in school. And this time he chose law as his degree path. Like, he was like, I'm dedicated. Let's do this. So this time around, though, Larry had a plan to make a little more money. A plan which seemed kind of out of character, and a plan which his family and friends knew nothing about. And that plan... Sorry if you can all hear that. Did everybody hear that? So sorry.
Almost certainly. How unprofessional.
I'm sorry. My phone rang. Oh, the side business. It was a phone call. No, the side business says his friends and family knew nothing about. He had a lucrative side business as a drug runner, which was really out of left field. So Larry, it said that he had kind of a violent side, and that's kind of allowed him to kind of be controlling and be a little more aggressive with this business so he could run it successfully, because it said he was pretty good at it. He had figured out how to smuggle heroin over the U.S.-Mexico border, and he even recruited some local teens to help with this operation because he knew it was like teens wouldn't be suspected as much. So it was like, wow. So it was all going great. He was making money. He had his cool little side gig. He was poised to graduate from law school, with good grades. And that was until 1974, at 26 years old, when he was discovered as a drug runner and subsequently arrested for possession and distribution of the narcotics. And for this crime, Larry was sentenced to 40 years in prison, which is a really lengthy stay, if you ask me. But Larry fared well in his time in prison in Tennessee. He did good. He fit in well with everyone. He made a lot of friends with the prisoners and the guards. He wrote for the prison newspaper. It was called the Phoenix. So he was settling in nicely, as he did in most crowds. He would often act as a mediator between inmates and the guards because he got along so well with everyone, and everyone trusted him. And after a particular conflict resolution between a guard and an inmate, it didn't specify what the ordeal was, what the conflict was, but he helped with some kind of resolution between guards and inmates. So Larry and 30 other prisoners were taken for their good behavior, and on September 13th of 78, they got to go bowling at Bowl Arena in Dixon, Tennessee. So I was like, I guess if you're behind bars, that's actually a really good treat.
I mean, yeah, it's certainly better than what you're normally doing.
Being behind bars, which is not as fun. But they all got to go bowling, and a bunch of guards went with them. So it was like, it's fine. These are all the good guys. These are good inmates that are no problem. So while on their outing, one of the officers noticed that Larry and another inmate were kind of like acting suspicious. They were like spending time around the bathroom, and it looked like they were like trying to carry packages or something, like under their arms or something. They were being real weird. So the guard went to check on Larry and the other inmate, and that's where he was confronted with a sawed-off shotgun in his face. And I was like, can you imagine? You're like, we got the good inmates. It's going to be a good day. We're all friends. And then bam, there's a shotgun in your face. And so the officer was able to back out of the room, like back out of the way without being shot because the shotgun was not loaded yet. But a brawl and shootout happened soon after. And it was Larry and the other guy that had a shotgun. So the shootout only lasted like a minute, it said. It was like a minute or less. It was very, very quick. But in that time, Larry basically had his thumb blown off. One officer suffered a bullet wound to his arm and a shotgun blow to the chest. He was only saved by his bulletproof vest. Like, it saved his life big time. Another guard did end up being in critical condition. But Larry took possession of the guards' pistols and began shouting orders to 3 other inmates. One was Ronald Lyons, the other George Bonds, and the other Floyd Brewer. He was yelling at them to take one of the female employees, 18-year-old Carolyn Fielder. Larry was yelling at these guys, take her hostage, grab her, let's go. And these guys were like, you bet. They did not argue. It's like they knew what was coming. They knew what was going to happen. So these guys complied, and they took Carolyn, and they deuced. So the men would end up releasing Carolyn pretty quickly without hurting her. They didn't touch her. But then they did that so they could immediately hijack a car and its driver, and they forced him to drive to the nearby municipal airport, which is like in a small airport. Once they got to the airport, they found a pilot getting ready to fly his, what do they call it? A Cessna. They called it a Cessna plane. That means nothing to me, but I think it means it's a small plane.
Yeah, I assume it's like a type or brand, but I've heard the name.
Yes, I think it's like a really small passenger plane, like the pilot, a co-pilot, and maybe like 2 or 3 other people can fit in there. Very small. It's not commercial. That's what I'm gathering. So they found this pilot getting ready to fly his plane with his young son. So I think they were like deuces to the truck driver guy, and they're like, hey, pilot and son, we're hijacking you guys now. So they took both hostage, the father and son, and forced the pilot to take off and fly them west into Arkansas. But not long after they took flight, they were forced to land because the fugitives were like, didn't let him fuel up or top off. They didn't let him do his safety checks. And so, of course, things went wrong. So they were just over the Arkansas border when they were forced to land in a field. They're actually in Marianna, Arkansas, if you know where that's at. Is that a yes? Is that on the Delta?
Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah. How close is that to West Memphis?
Fairly close.
Okay.
Yeah.
But Marianna is really close to Forest City, which is where Larry's from. So he was really familiar with that area. So a nearby farmer, he saw the emergency landing in the field, and he rushed over to help the individuals. And when he came up to them, the escaped inmates, they're like, let the guy and the pilot and the son go. And they're like, you're ours now, Mr. Truck Driver. So, I mean, they were just like one after the other, like at gunpoint, do what we tell you, you won't get hurt. And they did let these people go. But they took the farmer hostage, forcing him to drive to their next point. And like I said, this pattern continued until the 4 inmates, they broke up into pairs. So Larry and Ronald Lyons split off, and then George and Floyd split off. So George and Floyd actually they were in prison for, I think it was rape. I think both of them were in prison for rape. So gross. And then I think Larry was, drugs and whatever. I think Ronald was in prison for like armed robbery, maybe. So Larry and Ronald were together. The 2 rapists were together. And so Larry and Ronald went in one direction. George and Floyd went in the other direction. And once they split up, George and Floyd were caught within a day. But Larry and Ronald kind of kept on for a while. So Larry and Ronald ended up taking an elderly couple hostage and making them drive into the back roads of Kentucky. And once there, they released the elderly couple without harming them. So same MO over and over again. This is also, once they got to those back roads, Larry and Ronald parted ways. So Larry was on his own. I mean, all of them were on their own now. So police knew Larry was on foot. He had ended up going on foot. He wasn't in a vehicle. And they theorized that he'd be making his way back to the area he grew up in because that's where he was most familiar and he had the connections. So again, he was on foot. He could hide more easily being on foot. So police were kind of concerned about that. And George and Floyd, once they got them, they told police that Larry told them he was headed toward Texas. So they started setting up a bunch of roadblocks on the way to Texas to like try to suss out Larry. But they didn't find him. However, very shortly after that, a tip came in from Calico Rock, which, fun fact, I used to work in Calico Rock, where a local woman informed police that she thought she had spotted Larry just out and about there. And a local man from there as well said Larry had asked him for a ride earlier that day. So they've got eyes on him in Calico Rock. So they're like, we're going to go. We're going to get him. So police were closing in on Larry, but not before he took yet another hostage at gunpoint and then took this guy's truck. I don't think he took the guy with him. I think he just took his truck because a high-speed chase started to occur. The police found him. The chase ensued. It was on the back roads. Believe me, they are windy and dangerous up there. So that is a very dangerous thing to do. But police fired into the truck, which that's what makes me think that the guy wasn't in there. You would hope so. Yeah. There was an incident in Florida that one time where like a FedEx driver, package delivery driver of some sort got taken hostage, and they fired into the police fired into the truck and killed the hostage too. Oh no. Like, thanks guys. Appreciate it. That didn't help. Thank God you saved those TVs, I guess. Just let it go, man. Just let it go. So, yeah, he took the other hostage at gunpoint. The police pursued in a chase. So police fired into the truck, and a bullet did graze Larry's head. It didn't seriously injure him, but it did kind of, I guess he like swerved or like did something. It forced the truck off the road, and he crashed it into a roadblock that had been set up that police made. So he had wreaked all this havoc before, and then they got him. Of course, he stopped. They got him. He had wreaked all this havoc in 4 days, from the bowling alley incident to his capture. That was 4 days. That's a rough 4 days, if you ask me. But anyway, he ended up being captured and arrested.
Sounds exhausting.
I know. It's like, all right, now we got to take you hostage. Okay, come on, just give me your truck. You won't get hurt. Just give me your stuff. But having to do it over and over again.
And you're probably not getting much sleep.
No.
And it's not like, I'm going to go check into this hotel or whatever.
Yeah, and it's like, are you going to eat? Where's your money? All you have is some guns, unless you, steal from people.
Yeah, I guess you could just go, to stop at gas stations while you're going, and one person watches the hostage. I don't know.
Yeah. Mostly they just need the hostages for their transportation, it seems like, and for their leverage. But it didn't seem like they actually wanted to hurt the hostages. Not that that's good. Not that that's any better, but...
No, not particularly.
But you know what I mean. So he was arrested after the high-speed chase, and he was booked into the Lonoke County Jail. And in November of 1978, 2 months after the escape, Larry pled guilty to charges of kidnapping, theft, and some other crimes. He was sentenced to an additional 30 years in prison. So he's looking at he's already served a couple, but basically 70 years total in prison. So his whole life.
Yeah.
So, and about the guns in the bathroom, if you're wondering, at the bowling alley, it turns out a college friend and previous roommate of his, William Henson, had placed guns there at Larry's bequest earlier that day before the group of inmates arrived. So William had visited Larry while he was incarcerated, and they hatched Larry's escape plan together, long before the bowling alley trip. Fun fact though, William went on the run as well after he was found to be involved with the escape plan, and he became a wanted fugitive, and he surrendered to the FBI after 13 years in 1992. So, little fun fact. A lot of criminals in here.
That is a fun fact.
Yeah.
That 13 years of looking over your shoulder all the time.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't do crime. It sounds exhausting.
It really does.
We're over here talking about falling asleep. You can't fall asleep while you're doing all these crimes or you'll get caught.
That's right. I can just fall asleep on my couch.
Yeah. And the FBI is not going to come and get you or something. You're good.
I hope not.
I mean, if they do, it's probably... You've probably been wrongfully accused, as far as I know.
I would think so. Yes. That's my statement. I'm sticking to it. So, after his capture and confession, Larry was sitting in county jail, knowing that his time was limited before he would be sent back to the high security prison to live out basically the rest of his life. So, guess what he did? Andrew, guess what he did? Thinking about that.
Did he escape again? Because it's the 70s?
He began to plan his escape again. And again, he used his charisma and his unassuming, nerdy looks to put people over him at ease. Just chummy buddies here. So on December 22nd, 1978, this was just a few short months after his first escape plan, Larry started plotting again. And with 2 old buddies of his, George and Floyd. Look at that.
I don't know. I know they got out the first time, but George and Floyd didn't do very good on the run, it seems like.
No, they didn't. They got caught pretty quick. And there was some other dude. It didn't say his name. There was a 4th inmate. So same thing as before. 4 dudes. Anyway. So somehow the inmates were able to get their hands on a wrench. It doesn't say how, but somehow they got a wrench, which they used to open an air conditioning vent in their cells. The men then crawled through the vents to a neighboring room, which held weapons and keys to the jail and to wherever he was. So armed with keys and weapons, the men came upon a guard, forced him into a cell, locked the cell, took his car keys, and they all drove away. And nobody noticed for a while, for a couple hours. I was like, oh my gosh. So they had quite the head start. But by the end of 1978, which was just a week later, 3 of the 4 men were captured. Again, but Larry was still on the run. Again, he evaded police. The captured men led police to believe that Larry might be heading towards Little Rock, the one true city, where the population was larger there and he could blend in a little easier. So they said he had also talked about taking up a fake identity and just living it up. He had these plans of a fake identity and everything.
Well, and earlier he told those people he was going to Texas, right? And he very much did not.
Right.
So.
Well, and he might have been making his way to Texas, or they might have lied. I don't know.
Yeah, I would just lie to those people.
Right. Yeah.
In case they get captured. Then it's I'm going to, I don't know, Iraq. Like, okay.
Well, that's way far away.
It's like, yeah, they'll never find me there.
You could say England and then go to England, Arkansas.
There you go, yeah.
Or Paris.
Or Paris.
You can go to
Paris. Or Nashville or Dallas.
Or Palestine.
There you go.
That's somewhere in Arkansas.
That's one you should say.
Well, that's somewhere in Arkansas.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Those were all Arkansas places.
I think it is Palestine though, and not Palestine.
Yeah.
Here, it doesn't matter. Okay. So, turns out the men were right, and police would learn that Larry had adopted not about Little Rock, about the fake identities. Police would learn that Larry had adopted many pseudonyms on his time out, and some of them were set up prior to his escape by his old drug friends. Like, they were the ones who were helping him procure these fake identities. So, with that, with the help of his friends, with his drug connections from past, and with the fake identities, Larry was able to kind of move about for a long time and elude capture. So, about a month after Larry's second escape, on January 26, 1979, the First National Bank in Cincinnati, Ohio, was robbed. A man entered the bank, pretended to be an official with the U.S. Treasury, and then claimed to have a bomb. The man left the bank with around $250,000. He didn't physically harm anyone, and he just exited the bank and blended in with everybody. People in the bank identified the man as Larry.
I don't know. I've never tried to rob a bank, but it seems like it used to be easier.
You just walked in, you're like, I want your money or I'm going to kill you. And they're like, okay. And then you just walk out and that's it. Yeah.
Well, even further back in like the 1920s, they were just like robbing banks and being like, it was me, Andrew. And you tell everybody it was Andrew. I did it. And here's some selfies for you. You can just share those around.
Good luck catching me.
Yeah.
I'm going to go rob that bank over there.
And there's nothing you can do about it. I've got the Thompson here.
I'm an outlaw.
I don't know. They could just rob banks willy-nilly and escape prison willy-nilly back then.
It's true. And apparently a little bit in the 70s too.
Apparently so, yeah.
The 1970s. So, so people in the bank were like, yeah, that was the Larry guy. That's him. So police believe this was how he was going to fund his escape life. Like, I mean, that's a pretty big paycheck, and you can live off that for a good long time.
Especially in the 70s.
Yeah, that's a lot. Andrew, you know what you have to do.
Oh, find the money?
Conversion.
Okay.
So I'm going to keep going. So by the summer of 1979, the hunt for Larry had kind of like fizzled out. Like, they didn't have any leads. But by 1980, things started to heat up again. A woman named Evelyn Wood came forward stating she knew Larry and that they had been together until recently. So this is the account that she gave. Do you have a number first?
I do now. It's $926,980.
So he basically got away with $1 million in 1970.
Yeah, just about.
Oh my gosh. I didn't mean to yell in your ear, but that's a lot of... 250,000 equaled almost... It's like 900,000.
Yeah, and, everything's gone up except for wages since then, so that's cool.
Bazinga. What was that noise?
The chair moved.
Oh, okay. Okay, so this is Evelyn's story. She said that she had dated a man that went by... Okay, I'm not sure. It said George or Earl, so I don't know. So we're going to say George Earl. So she dated a man that went by George/Earl McLean. She said the two met in New Orleans, Louisiana. He was a man who did kind of like side gig jobs, like roofing and construction. He had a roommate he was friends with named Jimmy Price. And not long after Evelyn and George Earl met, the two started dating and they moved in together. So
and he's hanging out with this guy named Jimmy Price, who sounds like an old-timey gangster himself.
Jimmy Price.
Yeah. Jimmy Price wanted dead or alive. It feels like it fits. Okay. There's a movie about Jimmy Price out there. I don't know.
Okay. Well, if there wasn't, there should be now. Anyway, no, but they were roommates and for a brief time. And then George/Earl and Evelyn got together and moved in together very quickly. So in the later part of 1979, George Earl suffered an injury on the job where he fell 2 stories off a roof while trying to load some equipment, which sounds terrible. He was admitted to the hospital and spent several weeks there. This injury kind of derailed George Earl's career and his job, and it would eventually lead to his and Evelyn's relationship going bad as well. So in early 1980, Evelyn would leave her lover after learning his true identity and that he was a wanted fugitive. George/Earl was actually Larry. So she abandoned the apartment they had shared together and moved in with some family. She found out Larry had moved to Mobile, Alabama with his friend, Jimmy Price, the gangster.
Big fan.
Yeah. Where they all began roofing again. Like he was like, well, just pick back up roofing. I know I just fell off one, but got to make a wage somehow. So his stay in Mobile didn't last as long as, because it didn't last very long because Evelyn had turned him into the FBI when she found out who he was. So his running began again, and he stayed one step ahead of those pursuing him. So we're going to talk about his time in Mobile and his second run. Actually, be like his fourth, but whatever. So while he was in Alabama in the first half of 1980, Larry met a woman named Linda Hicks. The two got together and Larry would move in. And that was his MO they found that out a couple times.
Find a lady and charm them.
Basically. And he was just like this nerdy, unassuming, nice guy. So it's like, whatever. So the FBI found Linda and they eventually found Linda and brought her in for questioning about Larry. And this is the account she gave about her time. After she and Larry got together, which I'm not sure which pseudonym he was using here, so I'm just going to refer to him as Larry. So after she and Larry got together, he caught wind that the FBI were hot on his trail because Evelyn was like, I dated this guy and he's a liar. So Linda decided, Larry was like, there are FBI's on my trail. I got to get out of here. So Linda was like, I'm going to come with you. So she decided to flee with him. She dropped her children off with her sister, promised she'd be back soon, and then just went on the run with Larry. And like I said, I think he might have been using McLean. I don't really know what he was using at this point.
This is one of the wilder versions of the old parent went out for cigarettes and never came back story.
My mother left with a wanted fugitive and never came back.
My mom decided she wanted to be an outlaw.
Yeah, exactly. So Linda said that Larry had been researching how to evade capture. Like he had books and articles and stuff saved where they lived. And it included having tons of personal information about people to create new identities. As well, he already had some fake IDs. Like I said, his drug buddies had helped him. In fact, he would look up information about children that were born the year he was born or around the year he was born that had died when they were kids. And he would look up does that make sense? He would look up dead kids.
Yes,
that would be around his age if they were grown up.
That's wild, especially because that's something that happens on King of the Hill.
Does it really?
Yeah, Dale, the fake name he always gives, Shackelford, Rusty Shackelford.
Yeah.
He picked that name after a kid that had died, except the kid never actually died, and he was causing all kinds of problems because of using his name for stuff. Yeah.
So that so he would look up deceased kids, and then he would call the living family of those children to collect information on them and then assume those kids' identities. And he was also looking up how to do mail drops to himself and stuff like that. If he went running around, how to mail stuff to where he was going. And I was like, dude's planning, but that's pretty messed up. So when Larry and Linda fled, they ended up in Magnolia Springs, Alabama. And she had said they thought about heading east down towards Florida, but they ended up stopping in Georgia for a bit. But while they were there, they kind of hung out and they're like, no, let's go up to South Carolina. So the two would sleep and stay mostly in the car as they were pretty low on funds. Sometimes she said they'd sleep in cheap motels, but they really tried to fly under the radar. So they, try to fly under the radar. They would pick up odd jobs at service stations to try and make some money here and there, which I was like, what kind of odd jobs are you picking up at service stations? Let me wash your car. Let me buff your tires.
Maybe.
And I was like, what? Let me pump your gas for you? Could be. I don't know.
You want to have a secret fight club and we do bets? I don't know.
I don't know what the services they would provide were, but they also made money by stopping and giving blood at blood centers and stuff and getting paid for it.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's how college students do it.
That's right.
But after about a week or so away from her children, Linda missed them and decided to return home. And Larry went with her for a bit, but decided it was probably best that he not go back to Alabama because the FBI was probably looking for him.
Right. And if moment she shows up, I'm sure they're going to
be like,
get her.
Yeah. So by the time the FBI caught up with Linda, she had already parted ways with Larry at a rest stop in Meridian, Mississippi, which I read two different accounts. I read somewhere that that was a week before that she had dropped, that they had last seen each other. And then one source said a month before, but still fairly quick timeline between her last visit with him and when the FBI caught up with her. She said she had not seen or heard from Larry since then, and this was his last known location or anything about him for about 5 or 6 years.
Wow. Yeah. Pretty good.
Yeah. So there's more, but wait, there's more. So in 1986, investigators caught wind of Larry's movement through one of his stolen identities. That's kind of what I sussed out, was like they had been keeping tabs on a stolen identity and they saw movement on it and they're like, So this was Gregory Moser, aka Larry, had moved from West Virginia to Charlotte, North Carolina in 1986. And what he was up to in the 6 years between Linda and Gregory Moser, like Gregory Moser identity, it was kind of a mystery. They didn't really know. So when he moved to Charlotte, Larry adopted yet a new identity, and it's one that he stuck with for a long time, and it's one that's closest associated with him, and that is Kenneth Lamar Brookins. So they knew he was there because this particular alias applied for a driver's license on September 29th, 1988 in that vicinity. So while in Charlotte, Larry, aka Kenneth, was supposedly married to a lady named Deborah Brookins. This woman was also kind of a mystery to investigators, as she also had a previous pseudonym of Sherry Moser, which was the name of the other guy, George Moser, So they were not sure if that was like her real name. And then Larry adopted George Moser as a moniker, like a pseudonym, or they're not sure if Sherry Moser was her real name at all. So they don't really know. And so it's very confusing. It's very confusing.
That is very strange. So they actually know her actual real name though?
No, they don't know if it's Sherry Moser or Deborah Brookins, or if they're both fake names and she's totally somebody different.
What if she's secretly the El Dorado Jane Doe?
What? Where did that come from?
What if, I don't know. We don't know who this person is. What if she's the person that we don't know who they are?
That's a stretch.
There's hundreds of millions of people in America. It would be hard to figure that out, but I'm just saying.
That's a stretch.
There's an idea.
Okay. But
people post wackier things on Facebook and think it's real, so who cares?
That is true. I'm not magnetized and I've had the vaccine, so anywho, where was I? Okay, so the two seem to have at least one daughter, either together or Deborah came into a relationship with it. They're not sure. Possibly a total of 3 daughters. That's such a big variance. 1 to 3 daughters.
Most things 1 to 3 is not a huge difference, but when it's children, that's massive.
It's kind of was it 1 or was it 3? I don't know. So for sure, there was one child that went by Brenda, which again could be assumed name, could be her real name. Possibly 2 others named Barbie or Sandy. It's a maybe at that one. So Brenda was the only one for sure seen by someone, but the other 2 were never reported. Nobody ever said they saw her. So that's why it's the children were talked about in conversation, but nobody ever saw the other 2.
Interesting. I almost wonder if that's a
cover-up.
If it was actually just one and they referred to her as three different names at various points.
And maybe her name was, Barbie or Sandy, and they accidentally referred to her as that instead of Brenda.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah. So supposedly they all lived in Rock Hill, South Carolina at some point, and it said that they were all homeschooled. So that's why nobody really saw them or knew. So, or the one or all of them, whatever it is, the 1 to 3 children. So for a while, the little family lived in a motel while Larry/Kenneth looked for work. They also began attending the Christians United for People Ministries, which is CUP, CUP for short.
CUP, hilarious.
The CUP. That's a good elementary joke.
Yes, it is.
I just spelled it out and thought about it. Okay. Anyways, they received assistance from the CUP for food and clothing, which I think I've heard of the Christians United for People Ministries and not in a positive light before.
Oh, there's no telling. All the names sound the same, though, when you have stuff like that.
I think you should Google it. CUP, the Christians United for People Ministry. See what you find.
C-U-P.
Okay, I'm going to keep going. So the preacher for the church, Tom Johnson, said he met Larry at the beginning of 1989 when the family came forward and was like, we need assistance. He said that the family attended lots of yard sales and auctions that the church put on because they needed stuff for cheap. Tom Johnson said that Deborah, the wife, had an eye problem and had to read things very close to her face, but she never wore glasses or corrective lenses. And Brenda, the daughter, they said had a speech problem of sorts. They didn't specify what that speech problem was. So the CUP also bought the girls YMCA passes, and Tom Johnson remembers the family being avid outdoors lovers. So what did you find?
Not much, because when I put in those words, it's just a bunch of other stuff that's also similarly named. So I'm not sure if it's a major organization.
Okay. So one story Tom Johnson remembers is driving Deborah home from church one time, and she seemed like very evasive and standoffish. And she had the minister drop her off at a busy intersection near the home instead of like at their home proper. It's like she didn't want anyone knowing exactly where they lived. And he noticed that it was like where she was dropped off was across the street from this like, I guess it was kind of like apartments or something like that. So he figured they lived in that complex, but nobody really knew where they lived. Larry would provide free or cheap carpet work and handiwork for the CUP members. And they said it appeared he had his own carpet laying equipment, and that's how it looked like he made his living, was through carpet stuff. So the family continued their lives, with Larry/Kenneth eventually settling into a job in Matthews, North Carolina for a home building company, while Deborah worked at a, this is a good combo, laundromat/bar, which I'm gonna guess is like she worked part-time at a laundromat and part-time at a bar, but I like to think of it as a laundromat bar.
Oh, like it's
the same building.
This is America right here.
Yeah,
like
get your clothes clean, also get a mimosa.
Yeah, especially back then, because you couldn't just like, I don't know, play on your phone. You had to bring like a book. Yeah. Get real.
Yeah, right. Let's play
get
darts.
Smashed
Let's
instead.
play darts and get drunk while my clothes are getting clean.
Yeah, exactly.
So I like the idea of laundromat bar, but I'm pretty sure it was two different places.
Maybe we can start that business.
No, thank you. They eventually moved into an apartment, and they owned two vehicles, a 1972 Ford Fixer-Upper and a 1978 Chevy van that Deborah mostly used to drive to and from work. One of Larry's coworkers, Sheldon Lewis, spoke of how his friend Kenneth talked about smuggling weed in and out of Mexico, how he grew his own pot plants in his home, and he also talked about how Kenneth discussed his desire to move, to like make his way back to Mexico because he enjoyed it. So Sheldon was the one who had sold Larry the Ford Fixer-Upper, and because it like pretty much it didn't work, basically Sheldon would give Larry/Kenneth would give Kenneth rides like to and from work almost every day. So that was like his closest friend there. And Sheldon is one of the eyewitnesses to have laid eyes upon Brenda, the daughter, but only the one. So it's like, I don't know if there was one or three. So even though Sheldon was supposedly a close friend of Larry's, he wasn't able to provide much background information. He only ever knew Larry as Kenneth. Like that's the only person he knew him as. And he didn't have much back info on Deborah either. Other than she had brown hair and some sort of connection to Florida, where her mother and father, maybe stepfather, lived. He wasn't sure. And of course she had the eyes, like something was wrong with her eyes. I don't know. This
sounds a lot like me trying to tell anybody the background of any of my friends. It's like, oh, I don't know, man.
They have a mom and a dad, maybe a brother or sister.
Yeah.
They at least lived in this place because we both lived there at the same time. I don't know where they live. Yeah, very vague.
Yeah.
And I think that was Larry's purpose. He wanted to keep everything very vague, and Deborah knew that. So Larry's and Deborah's lives were quiet and uneventful until January 3rd, 1990, when Unsolved Mysteries ran a segment about Larry's escape from prison and his life on the run. So Larry saw the episode when it aired, and he was like, crap, the gig's up. And so he decided to go on the run again, but this time he was bringing his whole family, which it could have been 3 people. It could have been 5 people. I don't know.
Did you look up this segment? Did you find it?
No, I didn't watch it.
I think because once upon a time I was considering doing this episode, and I think I did it, and it's like, it's just very quick.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing to it.
Yeah.
Hardly.
They show a picture of him, I'm sure, in a sketch, and they're like, this is the dude. And he's like, well, people are going to recognize me now.
Yeah. I don't think they gave all the like information about like how he escaped and all that stuff. I think it was very brief.
He escaped prison. He's on the run.
Yeah. Basically it.
So he was like, I got to go on the run again. So the family left behind like everything they owned. The house, their furniture, their clothes, their belongings, except for what they wore. And they left in the Chevy van that Deborah drove. Right before he left, Larry told a coworker, which I don't know if it was his friend or not, but Larry told a coworker he had seen himself on the Unsolved Mysteries episode and that he was skipping town. He told the coworker he would return in 3 months for his paycheck and that everything he left behind at work and at home, he was like, it's all yours. You can take it all. So, of course, Larry would not, he didn't return for the paycheck or use the Kenneth Brookins pseudonym again. Likewise, Deborah would not use her pseudonym again either. And then the other one, the Sherry Moser, that was not used again either. He never made any contact with the acquaintances he made in Charlotte either or anywhere else. So investigators would only catch wind of Larry one more time in Atlanta, Georgia, where he sold that van in December of 1990. However, the purchaser of that van would not register the vehicle till almost a year later. So any momentum was lost there. And that was December 4th of 1990. And that's it. That's it. That's the last of Larry. That's the last of Kenneth. That's the last of George. That's the last of Earl. That's it. That's the last lead.
Wow. I think we actually made it through an episode with nobody dying.
You ruined my punchline. Okay. So,
sorry.
Okay, I'll give it to you again. So Larry Porter Chism has gone by all of these aliases. It's a lot. Are you ready? Kenneth Lamar Brookins, Jack Kaufman, Gary Joseph Buoni, Gerald Coleman, Douglas D. Baker, Charles Cox, Alan Berry, Warren Smith, Daniel Berry, Mark Anthony Baldwin, Theodore Lee Mason, Earl F. McLean, Carl McClare, James LeBlanc, James M. Simpson, James F. Hedrick, Ralph Blair, Charles B. Purdy, and Howard Smith III.
I like Charles B. Purdy.
Charles B. Purdy.
Look at him.
He's Purdy.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So at the time of his disappearance, his last known physical description, he was around 160 pounds, around 5'10", with brown eyes and black hair. Of course, his hair is probably grayed or white by now. He used to wear thick prescription glasses, but he may or may not now with, corrective surgeries and stuff. He's easygoing, mild-mannered, laid back, charismatic, easy to get along with. He blends in with the crowd. He has scars on his left and right arms and a noticeable birthmark on his left thigh, which I'm thinking, who's getting close enough to his left thigh to see? But anyway.
Well, one of his former wives, probably.
That's true. Or girlfriends.
Or what? Yeah, whatever they were.
Yeah. So he seems to prefer the South, but he may have gone west as well, or he may have gone down to Mexico. He was said to have visited his fugitive friend William Henson in Arizona at some point, so that's why they think he might have gone west. Yeah, remember the William Henson, the guy that went on the fugitive? Yeah. He was in Arizona at some point.
And he's like, hey, buddy.
Yeah, exactly. We're both fugitives now. Larry is still on the U.S. Marshals top 15 most wanted. He's the longest running fugitive and wanted man on the U.S. Marshals list. It's believed he's still alive today. He would be in his early 70s. He's been on this list since before I was born. Before you were born.
Before anybody in the world was born, basically.
Yeah. Well, that's heavy, but nope. That's also wrong. Okay. So he'd been in his early 70s. So we'll put this information up. But if you have any information, you can call in tips to 1-877-926-8332. 1-877-926-8332. And you can also submit tips online at www.usmarshals.gov/tips. That's www.usmarshals.gov/tips. And like I said, Angel put that in the notes. We'll also include the wanted poster that he has and an age progressed photo. And Andrew stole my thunder, but that is the first episode that we've done where nobody dies.
Yeah. Other than, like, I guess technically the missing.
And the cops were injured.
Yeah, but yeah, no bystanders got killed or anything.
Hostages galore, but none of them were injured.
Yeah, that's
not purposefully.
Pretty wild.
And that's it. That's the story of Larry Porter Chism / Kenneth George Earl blah, 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 Charles B. Purdy.
Charles B. Purdy. You know what? I think he won this.
What do you mean?
He won. He
wins the game?
Yeah, because I mean,
when you play the Game of Thrones.
Yeah, his other option is, like, he would have still been in prison at this point, even before the first escape. I'm pretty sure, because it was 40 years. He was in his 20s,
right?
So I mean, it'd be close, but he basically he's lived a full, if strange and horrible life in some ways.
I don't know if it's a full life, but he's lived a life out of prison.
It's probably fuller than living in prison.
Yeah, that's true. But yes, 100%. Isn't that crazy?
That is pretty wild.
We made fun of escapees from, like, the 1800s. We're like, man, anybody could escape prison. But this was the 1970s. It was a little closer. Yeah.
And I guess he lived in a world without cell phones, so that helps. But,
yes, 100%. And now I wonder what he does now. And I mean, is his identity just that solid? Or
I mean, he could have always died.
I say Mexico.
Mexico seems like the one that makes the most sense.
Yeah.
If he was able to get there. I mean,
and he wanted to live in warmer climates because he always had outside type jobs like construction and roofing.
Yeah, so he would have, and he had, previous time in Mexico.
Yes.
And also you'd probably want to go there because the U.S. government isn't there.
It's not there. Oh, sources. I want to talk about my sources. So U.S. Marshals, where I got that poster, Unresolved is, I think, another podcast or a blog, and they did an episode on this. It was so thorough and so good. Their information was awesome. So I got majority of my information from there. Medium.com, I got quite a bit of information there, and then a little bit from Unsolved Mysteries as well.
Very good, Caitlin.
Thank you.
Very good, Larry Porter Chism. You beat us.
You did it.
You dirtbag.
You got him.
You wily rascal.
Actually, that's actually what one of the articles described him as, wily.
Wily.
Yeah. So anyways, that's it.
It's a good word. We should bring it back. Along with...
Like flim flam.
Yeah, and blockhead.
Or dingbat.
Dingbat's a good one. Ne'er-do-well.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, some of these old words should come back.
Yeah.
That's my theory.
Okay, what you got?
How many Star Wars is Caitlin?
1.
It's 2. Bad Batch, and I finished the second Darth Bane book. So I'm about to start the third one, Dynasty of Evil.
Ooh.
So I don't know. I still don't love that book series, but whatever. I'm almost done.
It's Star Wars.
And it's audiobooks, so I'm not paying that much attention anyway.
Yeah.
I'm doing other things and living my life. Mm-hmm. If I were like 100% focused on it and didn't like it, that would be a problem. But,
Yep.
Other than that, I haven't really done a whole lot. I started rewatching. Have you ever watched the show Don't Trust the Bee in Apartment 23?
No.
So it only lasted like 2 seasons. Yes. It was on ABC.
I remember that.
And it was okay. It's all right. I don't know. It's worth checking out. You might like it more than me, I think.
Is it a sitcom?
Yes.
I'm not. I'm out.
What do you mean you're out?
I don't like sitcoms.
Since when?
I've never liked sitcoms.
Are you talking about like specifically like the 3-camera sitcoms like a Friends?
Yes, and like all I can think of was like Big Bang Theory, Friends.
Okay, so it's not one of those. It's more... The Office is considered a sitcom, Caitlin. And you like The Office.
I do love The Office.
So it's not one of those like stage production ones where it's like formulated like a play almost,
Yes.
And it's also like it's a lot more offensive than I would have expected for an ABC show, especially for something that came out like 10 years ago. Mm-hmm. It stars Kristen Ritter, who is Jessica Jones, and James Van Der Beek as James Van Der Beek.
What?
Like it's all right. It's worth checking out, and it's just like something to have and watch. But
I like Jessica Jones. That's good.
Yeah, Jessica Jones is really good.
Eric Andre's in it.
Yes, he's one of the main characters.
I'm looking at the cast out. James Van Der Beek is James Van Der Beek.
Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff of him like doing acting jobs or whatever.
That's really funny.
Yeah.
Dean Cain is in it?
Yes, he's James Van Der Beek's rival on Dancing with the Stars.
Are you serious?
Yes.
You know that Dean Cain got in trouble for some dirty stuff a few years back.
I did not.
Yeah, some dirty stuff.
Probably.
Kiernan Shipka's in it.
Who's that?
And Busy Phillips.
Who's that? I don't know everybody's name.
Busy Phillips. I don't know what she's in, but I know her. And then Kiernan Shipka plays Sabrina on the Sabrina show.
The new Sabrina?
Yeah. Frankie Muniz is in it.
Okay, yeah, Busy Phillips. Yeah, Frankie Muniz, I saw the episode he was in recently. I'm trying to remember what they were doing. Oh, James Van Der Beek was trying to get together a Dawson's Creek reunion show.
Oh my gosh.
So Chloe, which is Kristen Ritter's character, had been lying to him, saying that they were trying to do a reunion show with him. And then he would always turn it down, so he would feel good about himself, like big league everybody. Mm-hmm. And then the character of June, who I don't know, she was in like an episode 2 of New Girl, but I don't know what else anybody would recognize her from. And she's like, no, Dawson's Creek is great, and you should do this. And so then he's like, okay, let's do it. And finds out all of his co-stars actually hate him and don't want to do a reunion show. And so then he tried to come up with an idea of doing Dawson's Creek crossover with Malcolm in the Middle. That's why Frankie Muniz was there.
Oh, okay.
But he just like accosted him in a grocery store rather than like doing anything proper.
Gotcha.
It's a very weird show.
Yeah.
Like I'm surprised it exists at all in any form or fashion, but I don't know. Check it out. It's on Hulu.
Okay.
It's fine.
Okay.
And there's only two seasons. I'm trying to remember what I looked up Busy Phillips. I recognize her.
Yeah.
She was in like Freaks and Geeks.
Yeah, that's it.
And Cougar Town.
Didn't watch that.
She's in that show Girls 5 Eva that's on Peacock. I haven't watched it.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, I don't know what else she would have been in. I don't even remember her being in the show. But, you know, what are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
Oh, I know why she was in the show. She was on Dawson's Creek. She was in that episode.
Oh.
She was in the episode telling James Van Der Beek that everybody hates him.
That's funny.
So there you go.
Okay.
Do you have anything?
Well,
I don't have much else. I've like started some comics, but like barely.
Okay. I just want to ask you a question.
Okay.
I saw this on Facebook and I was like, oh, and I read the comments. I was like, everybody's mind works differently. If I ask you, what is 28 plus 47? What does your mind do? How do you get to the answer?
So the real answer is that my mind freezes for a minute.
Math.
I assume this is basically asking if like people like converted into to tens and stuff.
Right.
Usually stuff like that, I would go like 60, like the 40 and the 20, or the 40 and the 20. Is that what it was?
28 plus 47.
28 plus 47.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would do 60 and then add 15.
Wow, that's not what I do.
So
I break it down to one of the numbers to a division of 10. So let's say it's 28 plus 47. So I'm going to go with, we'll go down to 40. So 28 plus 40. So then that's 68 plus 7 is 75.
So in this version you've laid out, what I would have done is taken 2 from the 27 and put it into the 48 to make it 50. And then you'd have 25.
Wow, nope. We're just going to go down to a 0 division. We're just going to go. I don't want to add anything to the formula.
Well, no, I mean, I don't know. You're just you're subtracting from one, adding to the other, so that you get one that is a perfect 10.
I just want to take one. I just want to work with one here. Just one. So we're just going to take the 7 away.
I'm trying to help you out.
So we've got 40 plus 28. So that's 68. That one's easy. Plus 7 is 75.
Yeah. My version's pretty easy. Take 2.
Mine's the best.
I don't know.
We're in a 10. We're not adding 2s and stuff.
I mean, your version is no better. That's what I say.
I'm superior. I finished that one book, the Irish book.
Yeah, how was it?
The Ruin. It was okay.
Did you like it as an actual book or just as Irish ASMR? Hey, speaking of ASMR.
No. Actually, yes. Tell everyone.
So people who are hipper than I, who watch Twitch all the time, probably know this, but it's been real weird on there
yes, it has.
lately. So I'll do my daily check-in, just be like, what's weird on Twitch today? Usually it's like, most of it's just like a lady in a bikini and she writes people's usernames on her arm for tips. It's like, cool. That's awesome.
That's weird.
But I saw one earlier today that was like, ear licking ASMR. And I said, what? And when I came over here, I was like, let's do our check-in on Twitch. And there was a different lady doing ear licking ASMR.
I think it said yoga pose.
Yoga pose was the other thing.
Which is like clearly
hilarious.
We know what you mean by that.
It is not a yoga pose. She's just laying on a bed with her butt facing the camera in yoga pants. I guess that's a yoga pose.
Oh my gosh.
And then the worst part of all, so it's ear licking ASMR. And it's like this little microphone deal.
Contraption.
Yeah, with fake like plasticky rubbery ears on it, and she's just licking it, just like, yeah.
And she's like, yum, 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 yum.
It's except way worse. Let's not replicate it too much because it's nasty sounding.
It was terrible. I was like, this is so cringy.
15,000 viewers.
But maybe there were people like you. Maybe half of them were people like you that were like, what is happening? But at least half of them had to be enjoying it. So that's still 7,500 people.
I mean, that chat was like flying by, so people are typing stuff of some sort. Let's do another check-in here.
No, please don't.
She's still on there, 15.7 thousand viewers.
But that's how you make money, I guess. Whatever.
She's still doing her yoga pose.
Yeah, of course she is. She must be hurting. You're not supposed to hold yoga poses that long.
I think she's doing it slightly different, but yeah.
Oh, good. Okay. I started throwing a glass the next book in it.
Oh yeah, you're back in?
Yeah, I got my little break and I'm gonna power through. I think it's the second to last one.
Sounds like me reading those Darth Bane books.
Well, I like the magic, and I told you this. I like the magic. I like the fantasy aspect. I don't like them. Leave the mushy gushy out of it. I don't care.
Maybe
no smushy, no mushy, no gushy.
Ugh.
What?
Gushy.
I don't know.
That sounds gross.
You know what I mean.
Anyway, maybe you should read those Darth Bane books because there's not much of any mushy or smushy at all. There's people using the Force to break people's necks.
Nice.
So maybe you should check that out.
I prefer violence. I choose violence.
What? You sound like one of the Sith.
No.
Through violence I gain power, and through power I break my chains or something. I forget what the whole deal was.
Dude,
peace is a lie.
Wow. Am I a Sith?
Maybe. I mean,
peace is a lie.
You're probably not able to control your emotions very well. You embrace them rather than control them. So that's pretty Sith-like versus Jedi.
Yeah. I would not call myself a peaceful person, but I'm not violent. Not that kind of peaceful. I'm just chaotic sometimes. Not on purpose. Sounds
like a Sith to me.
Yeah, well.
Yeah.
You know who else was a Sith?
Darth Bane.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Because he's Darth. Kylo Ren. Kinda.
He was not.
Kinda.
I mean, he never took on a Darth title.
Yeah, Darth Vader.
He was a member of the Knights of Ren.
Yeah.
They're touched by the shadow. That's what they say in the comic.
What does that even mean?
The dark side.
Exactly. See?
But
you might as well be a Sith. And
it's one of those things where it's like
Darth Vader, he was a Sith.
Yes, he was.
And he ended up at the very end, he was like, I must do good. I love my children.
Well, okay, but what are you supposed to do if you didn't do that? What if you instead get thrown down a reactor shaft by your apprentice?
Oh, well, you come back with fake legs, brah.
And then you get lightninged away by your own lightning and evaporate. Which was pretty messed up. Or you get chopped in half and live if you're Darth Maul.
That's what I was thinking of. That you get fake legs.
Or you
Lieutenant Dan, you got new legs.
Or you get your head chopped off like Count Dooku, aka Darth Tyrannus.
Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Exactly. I was going to tell you, with the Sith thing, it's all Sith are dark side users, but not all dark side users are Sith.
Okay.
I think it's an important distinction.
Okay.
For nobody who cares.
Okay.
But yeah. Caitlin's a Sith. Confirmed.
Yeah, maybe. I want to ask you something, and this is how I got to this is how I got there. Let me tell you. I was thinking about movies we watched this weekend. I think Star Wars was on for a little bit. Watched a little bit of that. Watched a little Indiana Jones. Then Jurassic Park was on, the first one, which was my favorite movie as a child. Watched Jurassic Park. And then that made me think, of course, all those together made me think a lot. Do you know the common theme?
Of Jurassic Park, Indiana Jones, and Star Wars?
Yeah. Come on, you can get there.
Oh, I don't know. Is it? It's not Spielberg, because I don't think he's involved officially with Star Wars.
No, not Spielberg.
Industrial Light and Magic?
What is that?
They're the people who do special effects.
No.
Okay.
I'll go ahead and tell you. It's John Williams.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So here's what I want to do.
Superman
Andrew.
As well.
Okay. Well, you're already playing the game. I want to first off find a list.
I didn't know we were playing a game.
We are playing a list. We're playing a game. I want you to tell to me, see how many movies you can name that John Williams composed the score for.
Okay. Just gonna say Star Wars, so that's 9 at least.
Okay, we're gonna group all the
Indiana Jones, so that's 4. I'm up to 13. I'm killing it.
Shut up.
I don't know how many of those Jurassics did he do. Just the one, or did he do Jurassic World as well?
I don't know. He for sure did. He set the foundation for the most of the.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know he did Superman back in the day.
So is that 4? We're gonna group the combo movies together.
I disagree. I'm almost at 20 with this.
Okay, so 4. What else?
No,
get off your computer.
I don't know what else he's done. Honestly, did he do Jaws? Was that him? I think I may have exhausted what I know off the top of my head. Maybe he just worked with like Lucas and Spielberg some more, so it was like E.T.
All
right,
keep going.
Schindler's List.
Yes.
Really?
I think so.
I just did that because of Spielberg.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
What else did Spielberg do? Or George Lucas? What else did George Lucas do? He didn't do much after Star Wars. And I don't think he did Did he do? I doubt he did Red Tails.
Red Tails.
It was a movie. It's about the Tuskegee Airmen. It's really bad.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Like, it has like the worst acting I've ever seen in my life, and is also historically inaccurate in ways that are like not good,
problematic.
Yeah, like you don't have to be like historically perfect, but
it was not John Williams.
I didn't think so. Who else were we talking about? Spielberg, Lucas. That's I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay, so just some. I asked John this question too. I just want to see how many he could do.
Did I do better? Probably not.
I think y'all did about the same. So Fiddler on the Roof, love that one from 71. Fiddler on the Roof. The Cowboys, which I've actually played that, and it's a lot of fun to play. It's very fun. What are there some other ones that are popular? Hold on, I'm scrolling through a giant list. Jaws, we got that one.
Yes.
Star Wars, we got that.
It gave me 9 points right there.
Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Okay.
He did Jaws too. Superman, I think you said that one.
I did say Superman.
Well, they put Empire Strikes Back, but
yeah, exactly. It's 2 different movies.
You've got all the Indiana Jones ones.
Yes. So I'm over 15 at some point here.
E.T., you got that. Yeah. We got those. Hold on, I'm scrolling. He did Superman and then Superman 4. So he skipped a couple there.
That's sort of surprising, but I think Superman 4 was like Christopher Reeves's like his big attempt at directing and stuff. I think he wrote it.
Here's a fun one. Home Alone.
Oh, interesting.
Hook.
I should have guessed that.
Far and Away.
I don't know what that is.
Jurassic Park. Schindler's List. Let's see what else. He did Lost World as well.
Okay.
7 Years in Tibet, which I've heard of that, but I've never seen it. Saving Private Ryan.
Okay, yeah.
Stepmom, sense. I did see that one. He did all the Star Wars, it looks like.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think Rise of Skywalker was gonna be his last one.
Oh, okay.
And he didn't do music on like Mandalorian.
That makes sense. it doesn't sound Mandalorian-ish.
Yeah,
it doesn't sound John Williams-ish. The Patriot.
Okay.
I didn't know that one. This is a good one. He literally touched most of my favorite fandoms. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
Oh, he just did the one?
I think so. He laid the groundwork here.
Well, I think
he did Minority Report. Oh, he did Chamber of Secrets as well. Catch Me If You Can. Prisoner of Azkaban. He did War of the Worlds. Memoirs of a Geisha. See, I'm learning things. He did Crystal Skull. Oh man,
it wasn't his fault though.
No, it wasn't.
He didn't make the movie.
War Horse. He did War Horse. The Book Thief. That was a great book. He did The Force Awakens.
You just gotta be careful, or somebody will steal it from you. Yeah, keep going. Just don't dwell on that bad joke. Keep going.
He did the BFG. That was a Spielberg movie.
The big effing gun. From Doom.
Big Friendly Giant.
Oh.
Last Jedi. He did Solo. He did Rise of Skywalker.
See, the Solo and Rogue One are the ones where I was like, I don't know if he did those.
So he stopped at Prisoner of Azkaban. He didn't do 4 through 7 or 7.5, 7.2. It looks like he is already signed on to do the untitled 5th Indiana Jones movie as well.
That makes sense, I guess.
Since he did the others.
I don't know why they're making this movie, but
Do you think it'll have Harrison Ford in it?
It does have Harrison Ford in it.
Does it have, real question, Shia LaBeouf?
Oh, probably not.
I would think not.
Because they were trying to set up for that 4th one to make it sort of like a passing of the torch to LaBeouf there.
Yeah.
And it did not work. Nobody liked it.
Yep. Nope.
So.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe stop making those movies. Like, what are you doing? Like, we don't need any more. You made 2 really good ones, 1 pretty good one, and then 1 bad one.
Yes, it was not. And we've talked about this before. I typically like movies in a genre that I like. X-Men, love X-Men. So I kind of like Dark Phoenix and the New Mutants or whatever it was. But I'm not going to say they're great movies.
I think you just need to raise your standards for movies, especially since everything is a comic book movie now. You can't just be like, oh, it has the Avengers, therefore I must like it. It's like, you can just be... But
I did like the Avengers movies.
Sure, that's fine. But I'm just saying if they make a bad one, you don't...
It's okay not to
I don't want you to be like, yeah.
Okay.
Same way with people who are like, I actually like Episode 2 Attack of the Clones because I like Star Wars. I'm like, I don't like Attack of the Clones. I've seen it like 1,000 times and I hate it.
So I guess that he hit most of the things I like. He didn't do any X-Men stuff, but he did do Harry Potter. He did Indiana Jones. He did Star Wars. The one thing he didn't do, Lord of the Rings.
Oh well.
Was that Howard Shore?
I don't know who that was, but I feel like it's better for not having John Williams. It would have been different.
It would have been way different. He has a very animated style. And that is not, I would say that's not Lord of the Rings.
Right. And I think that's fine.
Yeah.
It's going to have to be fine because they already made them.
Dude, I'm so smart. It was Howard Shore.
I agree about that being Howard Shore.
He's also a great composer. Very melodic. Very good composer.
What else has he done?
I think he did some Disney stuff.
Because I've never heard the name. I don't know that much about these composers.
Let's see what he did. Hobbit.
Boo.
Hold on, give me just a second.
I watched that first.
From Canada.
I watched that first Hobbit, and that was good. I didn't need to see any more.
Hold on. He did The Fly. How strange.
I assume like the one with Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah. Ooh, he did The Silence of the Lambs. It's a good one.
So it sounds like he did a bunch of like weird, creepy stuff.
He did Philadelphia. He did Mrs. Doubtfire.
Oh, that's random. Like it went from like Silence of the Lambs and The Fly to Lord of the Rings, into Mrs. Doubtfire. I was gonna say I could see doing the creepy stuff, and that's how like Peter Jackson would know him because Peter Jackson started off doing like horror slasher film stuff.
That's so bizarre. He did 7. He composed 7. The music for 7.
This all makes sense to me.
He did Kevin Smith's Dogma. He did That Thing You Do. Lots of Lord of the Rings.
I wonder if he did that Jay and Silent Bob reunion movie that was terrible.
Probably not. Oh, it looks like he did Man of Steel.
Howard Shore did?
Yeah. It says an excerpt from the Bridge of Khazad-dûm was used in the teaser for 2013 Superman film Man of Steel. So it was just like
that was Hans Zimmer.
Okay, so it's just in the trailer.
Yeah,
they probably didn't have composition yet.
Hans Zimmer and maybe somebody else helped. I don't remember.
Panic Room, Gangs of New York, More Lord of the Rings. What else? Oh, he worked with Fran Walsh and Annie Lennox. What can you see?
I don't know. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what's happening.
The Wow. The Aviator.
There
Departed.
it is.
He did the soundtrack for King Kong. Oh, but he was later replaced by James Newton Howard.
Oh, weird. Wonder if Peter Jackson decided he was done with him, I guess.
Oh, no.
But then I guess he brought him back for Hobbit.
In 2010, Shore composed the score to Eclipse, the third installment in the Twilight film series.
I figured you already knew that since you have all those soundtracks on vinyl.
Whatever. Oh my gosh.
Which one is Eclipse in the...
He also did The Hobbit.
Is that like the last one? What's the last one?
Oh.
Is Eclipse the third or second one?
I think it said the third movie.
Was it Twilight Breaking Dawn?
It says Shore composed the score to Eclipse, the third installment in the Twilight.
Okay.
So
and then
Twilight.
And then New Moon? Is that what it is?
That's the second one, I think.
Okay.
Twilight,
and then Eclipse
Twilight,
and Breaking Dawn.
New Moon, Eclipse, Breaking Dawn.
Okay. What happens in Eclipse? Tell me the story of Eclipse. What happens in that one? I demand to know.
Isn't that the one where she gets married?
I have no idea. I've only seen the second one.
I'm trying to... I think so bad.
The second one is the one where she's like, I'm very sad that Edward's gone. Because he's like, I can't be around you because otherwise I'll eat you.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm drawn to your special blood or whatever.
The first one, they're like, I love you. We just met each other and hi. And the second one, he's like, I love you too much. Bye. And then the third, and then they, in the end, they got back together. And I think the third one is where they like, well, crap. Now I don't know. Now I'm second guessing it.
Oh, yeah. The second one is also, it's basically Romeo and Juliet. And they make sure you know that because she's reading Romeo and Juliet in part of it.
So what great comparison.
Good job, Stephanie Meyer.
Yeah,
You're a writer. What a writer. Why don't you go write some more books about aliens that take over people?
And she wrote another book under a pseudonym to see if it would do good. It did not. And then she was like, oh, that was me, to see if it would sell better.
Oh, no.
Oh, it was me. I did that. Please buy my book.
Did that book come out where it's like from Edward's point of view or whatever it was?
I think so.
I know because 50 Shades of Grey started off as like Twilight fan fiction.
Isn't that hilarious?
It is. And E.L. James, the writer of that, has or is releasing books from the guy's perspective, just like straight up, not even hiding it.
It's like, oh, she did that. Well, we're gonna do that too.
Exactly.
Anyway,
very silly.
I think that's it. That's all I got.
I also watched Loki, the first episode.
Don't talk about it. I haven't watched it yet. We're going to talk about it next week, so I'm going to watch them both this week.
I like it so far.
Good.
But it's a one episode, and I don't know what else to tell you.
Okay, well, don't
Maybe Mephisto's in it.
Really?
I don't know.
Don't tease me like that.
There's a part where a thing happens where you might go, maybe Mephisto. Like, the first thing I thought was, like, how hilarious if I'm sure they filmed it too far ahead for that. But
do you think the two shows are connected? WandaVision, that is, and...
I'm sure in some form or fashion, but I don't know.
So exciting.
It's pretty good so far.
Cool.
Just one episode.
Well, I look forward to watching it because I like Tom Hiddleston.
Yeah, I think this is like the biggest debut for any of those Marvel shows on there too.
I bet it was. Everybody loves Tom Hiddleston. He's such a good actor.
I was just kind of surprised. I figured WandaVision. I guess Loki is such a popular character, though.
Yeah,
more so than.
And he's been
Scarlet Witch
there since like the first Thor.
First Thor.
Was he there before that?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, first Thor.
There's no reason he would have been.
I'm getting pretty pumped about Thor: Love and Thunder.
Yeah, that'll probably be good.
I keep seeing the actors like posting like selfies of them on set. You can't really see any outfits or anything.
Yeah,
but I'm getting excited about it.
There's a picture of Ewan McGregor, Obi-Wan from Obi-Wan Kenobi, and that's another one where it's like you can't see much on the set photo because it's like he's wearing like a black thing over his outfit.
Yes, they do that.
So you can't even see it. You can kind of see his boots, so you can be like, them's Jedi boots.
There's a TikTok. I don't know if I've sent it to you before, and it's like it's Ewan McGregor. In some interview, he was telling a story, and he said the punchline was that he's like, some kid saw him or something. He was like, "That's effing Obi-Wan Kenobi." And so there's, I'm sure somebody took a picture of or a video of Ewan in his outfit and then did that sound behind it. That's effing Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's great.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that show.
They don't say effing. They say something else.
I think they canceled one of those shows they announced for Star Wars. I think it was Rangers of the New Republic.
Why?
I guess they announced it too early and we're working on it and we're like, this isn't working. We shouldn't have announced this so early.
They just wanted to get people hyped.
Yeah, they could have done that by announcing the Obi-Wan show and that's just announced enough. Just that.
That's enough. I'm here for some Obi-Wan.
But they announced like 10 shows and 2 movies at the same time. So I was like, y'all need to chill.
Yeah, calm down, people. They want to be just like Marvel.
I mean, they're owned by the same people. So
Disney.
Maybe eventually those will cross over the MCU Star Wars universe.
Oh my gosh.
There's an idea.
So the X-Men still Fox or
Disney? They're Marvel now.
Disney owns Fox.
Yeah, so they'll be rolled in eventually, I guess.
All owned. Spider-Man's the outlier because that's Sony, right?
Yeah, but they have like a working relationship.
Partnership with them, yeah.
And technically I think Hulk is Universal, but they can use him in films where he is not the main character, but they can't make like a Hulk solo film.
Well, that stinks. Why not just buy him out then?
Because, I mean, I'm pretty sure it costs a lot of money, and it's just Hulk. It's just the movie rights for
But it's
Hulk.
also Harry Potter.
It's Universal? I thought that was Warner.
Isn't that the same?
I don't think so.
Because isn't Universal Studios, that's where Harry Potter is. Yeah,
but they had like Star Wars stuff at Disney before Disney bought them. So you just have deals to do things.
Okay.
And licensing.
Disney's going to buy it all. You just wait. You just watch.
They're getting there. They're getting there. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Harry Potter is Warner.
Okay. I think so. I remember the logo. Yeah, it's WB.
Universal, I believe, is also rolled in with like Comcast and NBC Universal. They own like USA and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it's all very confusing. I agree.
Yeah, it really is. Business. What do you know?
Yeah, Amazon, Comcast, Apple, Disney, Corp. That's what's going to happen eventually.
Everything. Hulu's in there.
Yep.
Hulu's already owned by Disney.
Yeah, mostly. It's like some percentage, so they can make most of the decisions if they want. Mm-hmm. But
all right, that's enough. That's enough shop talk, Andrew.
Okay.
Let's wrap this up.
Agreed.
Okay, guys. Thanks for sticking with us. Sorry, we're a little late this week. I
had a family emergency.
Yeah, Andrew had a family emergency. So for once, it wasn't my fault, and I just want to throw that in his face. But also, I hope your granddad's okay.
Yeah, and technically, I mean, I have missed an episode for a family emergency as well. So there is that.
That's true. But
yeah.
But we picked back up. We still did it on time, I think.
Yeah, you brought in some other people.
Yes, I did.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I'm looking forward to, obviously Mephisto is definitely going to be in, Loki. John Krasinski's definitely going to be in it. They're going to bring in Hugh Jackman as Wolverine into it. And they're going to bring in, Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker, played by Hayden Christensen. Just kidding. It'll be Haley Joel Osment.
Really?
No.
Okay, cool.
That's not even the right kid.
No, it's not.
Jake Lloyd's the kid.
Okay.
My bad.
Okay.
I'm not a real Star Wars fan. I've been exposed. I have to leave now.
Okay.
So take us home.
Yeah. Okay. Guys, thanks for sticking with us. Thanks for being patient with us, and for understanding. We will try to drop episodes, usually drop episodes every Tuesday. You can catch us on Facebook at Paint the Town Dead. You can catch us on Instagram at Paint the Town Dead, all one word. You can catch us on Twitter at PTTDpod. You can catch us on our email at pttdpod@gmail.com. Also, we have a TikTok, but we haven't posted anything on there, and that's also PTTDpod. Please be sure to subscribe on anything you can, rate 5 stars anything you can, like anything you can, share anything you can. Any positive interaction you have with us really helps, and we greatly appreciate it. Like I said, thanks for being patient. We really appreciate you guys, and thanks for stopping by. We'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye.